Hey, and welcome back to Mario Kart 64 episode 2. I'm gonna start with 150 like I promised. Or I didn't really promise, but like I said. Let's go with Peach. We're gonna go with Wario Stadium. Wario Stadium 3. Alright, let's get started. Get out of my way. So, yeah. This is probably my favorite course out of this game. But my favorite course that's ever been in a Mario Kart is Wario's Coliseum for Double Dash. Because for me that level feels like it's a roller coaster. And it's just really fun, and it's really kind of like crazy. Maybe one day if I ever do like a Double Dash playthrough, borrow it from my sister because she's got the copy, just like with Mario Kart 64. You know, I'll talk about it more in that one. Like, you know, maybe even talk about why I like it so much. But yeah, that's my favorite Mario Kart course is Mario Kart, not Mario Kart, is Wario Coliseum. But this is my favorite in this one. I think my least favorite is the Boo's house. Yeah, this is what I don't like about using light characters in this game, is they get spun out so easily. Especially on the 150 cc's. But if I don't make it to 4th place, I'm not placing anywhere. He just saved himself with a banana peel. I need to get back into the habit of like drifting in this game. The way that the controller's set up, it's not very intuitive for me to do it. I don't know why. The button's kind of in the same spot. But yeah, I think the Boo house is probably my least favorite. Just because of how easy it is to get knocked off of the dock. Did you see that? Like, just bouncing on the ground spun me out. This was a bad decision to go with Peach, but I'm gonna live with it. Maybe if I end up, unless I'm on the last course, if I end up like, you know, not ranking and stuff, and I don't remember if there's a live system in this one like there was in Mario Kart, like Super Mario Kart. Bingo, bye-bye. Maybe I'll end up like, if I end up having to do this one again, or I'm not that far into it and I do it again, then like I'll choose a different character, but I'm not fixing to restart just to change characters. I mean, granted, I did that in Super Mario Kart with Koopa. But like, I'm gonna try and not do that in this one if I can help it. Like, I don't feel bad for the way that that one ended. That, you know, oh my god, come on now. I don't feel bad for the way that Super Mario Kart ended. But I don't want to do that every time I play a Mario Kart. Like, get on the last course and then like of the last thing and then just like whatever with it. I doubt we'll see it again, but the sign that has like Wario's name on it, that one right there, that one always reminds me of the Wario Woods, specifically the Super Nintendo version, which I think is better than the NES version, because the Super Nintendo version has the single player of the NES version in it, plus more. And it's got, you know, in my opinion, better music, and the graphics are better and everything. And of course, it's the one I grew up with. I didn't grow up with the NES version. I didn't even know there was an NES one until like Cinemassacre did a video about it like several years ago. And then I saw that it was the one that was on the Switch. But speaking of the one that was on the Switch, it's so funny to me. I did Donkey Kong Country back, gosh, like a few weeks ago, like several weeks before it actually like uploaded. And I made a comment in it about the Donkey Kong Land games and about how like I wanted to play the first one because I grew up with it, and that like it would be great if they brought it to the Switch. If I'm remembering correctly, I said something along those lines, that it would be great for them to like bring it to the Switch, but I doubt, you know, Nintendo's gonna listen to me. And then like I found out a few days ago, this is like I think I think today is the 9th of December. I found out literally yesterday that the Donkey Kong Land games were brought to the Switch, and it kind of just blew my mind. Like, because I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. Now, it would be, you know, I'm not saying that it's because I said something about it, obviously. That would be a weird thing to think, but it would be really cool if they brought the Wario Land games. I don't remember if the first Wario Land has been brought to the Game Boy, but like, you know, Wario Land 1 and 2 and Wario Land 4, which, you know, the third game's already on there. The third one's my favorite. Quickly followed by 4. Oh my god, these penguins are gonna mess it up for me. Take that. You don't want to be in the way when my laser goes off. Take that. Anyway. Oh shit. Well, there it goes. Oh my god. We're gonna have to do this one over, but that's fine. It's a part of the journey. Unless, yeah, no, 5th doesn't rank, does it? That noise, I don't know what that noise is that was like, you know, like, I don't know what that is. I have always loved whatever that noise is. I don't know if that was just somebody making like that made a noise that got sampled and like used as an instrument. I've always loved it. The only other place that I can think of that I've ever heard it was in John Leguizamo's film The Pest, specifically when he's like, if I was poisoned, could I do this? And like, I don't know what that is. If it was a musical instrument, I would love to get it and play it, because I've always thought it was funny. I've always loved it. It's my childhood, because like, I swear it's been in a lot of Nintendo games. I just can't think of any other ones that it's been in at the moment. And it's kind of bizarre to me that The Pest is the only other thing I can think of. Which, by the way, I don't really care for that movie. Not really any reason other than, like, you know, John Leguizamo, his character is really annoying. I don't think that's John Leguizamo's fault. Oh my god, these penguins. I don't think it's his fault, because the character is supposed to be annoying, so he did his job, and he did his job great. But like, I just don't care for that movie. I watched it about a year or so ago for the first time in, like, you know, since the 90s. I think I only laughed at it once. But, you know, oh my god, this is not gonna So hey, you remember when I said earlier in the video that I'm not going to try and swap characters if I, you know, totally rank out? But I'm starting to reconsider because Peach is driving me nuts because she's too light for 150 cc's. I kind of already knew that, but I was just like, you know, let's go for it. Why not? But anyway, yeah, so going back to what I was saying before I started talking about the pest and that noise. Oh, come on, man. Oh, this will help. Unless Peach screws up. Oh, okay, alright now. I see you feeling the pressure of being swapped out. Yeah, so like, it'd be great if they brought the other Wario Land games. And I was thinking about it. I played on original cartridge, and, you know, that series just started going up. But, like, it'd be cool if they brought Pokemon Red, Blue, and Gold. Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. I don't know why they would need to bring all of them, but, like, I would love it if they brought all of them. And then, like, I've never played Ruby and Sapphire. I think it'd be pretty neat if they brought Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald to the Switch as well. And you might say, why if they bring Gold and Silver, why Emerald? You know, if they bring Red and Blue, why Yellow? You know, but those editions, Yellow, Crystal, and Emerald, are like different. It's kind of like the way they do the Persona games, since I think just Persona 3. But it's the way they do the Persona games, where you have like the original Persona, you know, version of the game, and then you have like the enhanced edition, like, you know, you had Persona 4, and then you had Golden, you have Persona 3, and then you have FES, and you have an inferior portable edition, and then you have the remake. And then you have, like, you know, Persona 5 and Royal. And, you know, it's kind of like that. It's like, it's the same experience up to a certain point. Like, there's a lot of the stuff that was, like, what made the original is still there. But then there's so much more added content that kind of even changes the way the game plays out. So it's like, it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. And it would be worth them doing it, because I've never played Crystal, and I rented Yellow back in the day. And even though I'm gonna knock out, there we go. See, there's Peach's Castle I was talking about in the last episode, but like, you know, oh man. So, like I was saying, even though Pikachu is not very good, and although I will say he helped me out for a little bit in the playthrough that I did. Admittedly, Pikachu is not that great in my opinion. You start off with Pikachu, and they make the game more like the anime, and Jesse and James is in it, you know, and everything, and like, I think that's pretty cool. So I would like to do a playthrough of that if, like, I don't know necessarily for the channel. I'm just saying, like, oh my god, if they do ever bring it to the Switch, I would love to play the game, is what I'm saying. I've never played Crystal, and I've never even played Red or Ruby and Sapphire. I have dabbled in Omega Ruby and Omega Sapphire for a little bit, but like, I never got, my god, dude, did you really have to do that, like, on the last lap? Bowser, you jackass. No wonder Peach doesn't want anything to do with you. You're throwing her in the lake. Anyway, so it'd be cool to play the original. I don't even think I made it to the last area, because admittedly, I don't like the water in Pokemon, and Ruby and Sapphire is like, it's all water for the most part. It's like 70% surfing, and I'm like, oh, it's a way to take the least my least favorite terrain and make it into, like, you know, the terrain for most of the game. I think I turned the music off. There we go. Oh my god, these thwomps. At least I'm not the only one getting, like, messed up on the thwomps. Although I really do like the laugh that they do in this game. Laugh. I really like that. But yeah, no, like I was saying, I don't like the water tile stuff in Pokemon games, but like I would play through it. I'm not very familiar with it, so that would be pretty neat. I mean, I have the remake that they did of Diamond and Pearl, so maybe eventually I might play through that for the channel. Although what I remember about it, I know a lot of people complained that it was too much like the original and not more like modern ones. What I remember about it is it had the same, like, every Pokemon gets experience in the battle no matter, like, what. I remember that. And that if you catch a Pokemon you were battling, you still get experience from it. So, like, you level up like crazy in that game, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But I didn't beat the Elite Four when I played through it. I kind of got annoyed. I got to the end. I went through the Elite Four once. I died on the last, on the champion. Where I got defeated by the champion. And I was like, you know what? I kind of struggled to get to this point because I didn't know what the typings and stuff were. I kind of struggled to get to this point. And I don't feel like grinding 20 levels just to try this again. So I just kind of switched it off. But, so I have those. I have that edition. I think I have Brilliant Diamond. I can't remember which one. I have that, and I have Shield. And despite what a lot of people said, I actually really like Shield. I think it had a lot of really good quality of life improvements, but I also just liked the vibe of Shield. I thought Team Yell sucks, but other than that, like, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the character designs for the most part were good. The scenarios were pretty decent, you know. I felt like, if I'm remembering correctly, you know, I felt like there wasn't really anything in the game that I felt was like, oh my god, did I come in third place? Hang on a second. Did I actually come in third place? Oh my god, it might actually happen. I'm not going to try and make it happen, but if I come in fourth place on the on the next course, that's going to be insane. So yeah, like I was saying, if I remember correctly, it never really felt like you had to go somewhere arbitrarily, or you had to go somewhere because it was like, oh, the story's making you go there. Every place just kind of felt like it had you go where you were supposed to go. And, you know, I kind of liked that it did what a lot of modern RPGs do these days, which, you know, I like the random encounter of things, but for Pokemon, we're going with Donkey Kong. For Pokemon, I kind of like the idea of, like, monsters on the overworld. And kind of like how in Dragon Quest 9 and in 11, they had them on the overworld. Which Dragon Quest 9, I remember not liking that game at all back in the day, but I replayed through it like end of last year, beginning of this year, and like I had a really good time with it. I think it's because like at the time I played it, it was the first Dragon Quest I played where like you had the job class system, and it's not as abusable and breakable as it is in like part 6, you know? it's kind of more along the lines of the way it is in part 3, but I understand the game now, like and the job system way better than I did. And so it kind of led me to like really just cut loose and have fun with it. And I really enjoyed it. I think it's really good. I would love it if they made a remake of 9. Honestly, I'm kind of like, I'm very stoked that the Erdrick trilogy has gotten the remakes and that like they're showing it love, and I would be like over the moon if they did a 4, 5, and 6 remake in the same style. And they don't have to remake 8 if they just brought the port of the PlayStation 2 version to the PS5. I would be cool with that. And of course, you know, I don't want them to change anything in it because like it's pretty much perfect in my opinion as it is. But then again, it was the first Dragon Quest I ever played, and even though it's not my favorite, which usually admittedly a lot of the times, like if I play a game for the first time, like Persona 5 was the first Persona I ever played, and it's my favorite on the technicality that's the first one I played. Ocarina of Time is my favorite Zelda because it was the first one I played. Oh my god. Pokemon Red is the first one I played, you know, etc, etc. Like usually that's the case. The first one really is like my favorite, which of course, you know, I have to caveat that about Ocarina of Time. It's my favorite in the context of like it's the first one I played. But it's not actually like my favorite. That would be Wind Waker. Because Wind Waker to me feels the most like an adventure out of all of the games. You know? And because like, you know, you're out on the open sea and everything, and you're like there's some real pacing issues closer to the end of the game, which I think gets resolved with the Wii U port, which I'm looking at you, Nintendo. Where's the Switch port of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess? But you know, as I was saying, like it feels the most kind of like an adventure to me. But you know, mileage may vary. I mean, I like them all for different reasons. I would say that Breath of the Wild is actually one of my favorites, just simply because of like running around and doing stuff, even though I'm not a huge fan of open world games. What the heck? Why was that person just like breakdancing in the air? Did you see that? But anyway, what was I talking about? And who is on the map just stopped? Is that the person that was breakdancing in the air? You see that? You see that little dot right there? That's not... Oh! It looks like they just got reset. I guess they wanted to, like, you know, be like, what dot? Anyway, why was Peach just sitting there? What is happening with... What is going on? Anyway, yeah, Breath of the Wild is kind of my favorite for, like, just the vibe of the game. You can just, like, zone out and play. However, with... Who... Oh, what the hell is going on here? Like, am I... I just saw Yoshi, but am I crazy? Was there, like, people just driving through the fucking, like, item things without any, like... Oh my gosh, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I'm just, like, overreacting or this is something to do with the Switch port. Because I swear, this level has never been like this on the N64. And I could just be, you know, misremembering things. But I'm pretty sure, like, it wasn't this like, shaky, you know. But, yeah, so... Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I really like those games. I do not like how disjointed the story is, though. I kind of understand why it is the way it is. Because it's like, you know... you're trying to tell a story where like everything can be done out of order, so they kind of have to tell you the same details over and over again, because it's kind of like, I don't know if they just didn't ever think to do like different dialogue and different like slightly different cutscenes for like what is going on with Donkey Kong. Anyway, I don't know if they just decided to do like different you know, cutscenes depending on which one you did first, or they was just like, well, that's, you know, we've already making this game that's like super huge. I'm not faulting them for not doing that. I'm thinking about it like out loud right now, you know what I mean? Like I'm processing possibility. Oh my god, I hate this level. I'm just processing like different possible reasons. Gosh, darn it. As I was saying, I don't know if it's just they are, you know, they were already made like a big game to begin with. And so it was like, you know, I don't think I'm going to make it. I don't think I'm going to come back from this level, or from like how far behind I am. I'm actually kind of surprised that hit Peach. Oh, come on. But yeah, I mean, I know the game is already huge to begin with, so to ask them or expect them to like put in extra additional stuff that's like, you know, context sensitive, like, oh, you've already got one of the divine beasts and we've already told you a bit about the story, so we don't need to really, you know, retell a lot of it. But I say this, and one of the things that, like, you know, a lot of people seem to forget about Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past is that, like, A Link to the Past, literally after you get to the Dark World, after every sage tells you the same information like 6 times. You know, so that does happen in other Zelda games. It's kind of like, we got to keep you focused on your goal, like, you know, like maybe it took you a long time to get through that dungeon, and so like, who knows, it could have been 2 weeks or something for you to finally figure out how to get through the dungeon or something. So like, we're just, you know, helping keep things on track. I mean, admittedly, that's kind of the whole point of the helpers, right? Like Navi and Fi and the boat, the King of the Red Lions, like they're kind of the people who keep track of what you're supposed to do. And you don't have that in either Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Kind of. I mean, you have it with the Sheikah Slate. But, you know, it is as is. I'm not saying it's good or bad. But, you know, I like it. I think it's a fun game. I kind of really want to play Ocarina of Time right now, and do a playthrough of it for the channel. But I think I'm going to hold off, because I think I've already said this before about, like, it seems like there's a lot of, like, playthroughs going on right now, but then it was kind of like, I came to the consensus whenever I was talking about it that, like, you know, maybe it was in Mario 64, I don't remember, like, I came to the consensus that there's probably never going to be a time that there isn't like multiple playthroughs going on by multiple people, and so that I would probably just do it. But right now, you know, Pokemon is turning out to be a pretty long series, so I don't feel like having 2 incredibly long series going on, even though they're like polar opposites. And I don't really know how long Ocarina of Time would be, because it really depends on if I want to do a completionist playthrough or not. And I could easily see that being like 50 plus episodes. You know, it's very much possible. I play Ocarina of Time, it's like 50 episodes, you know. I'm definitely going to play on the N64. I'm definitely going to borrow it from my sister to do that because man, I'm definitely going to do that because, like, you know, controls and stuff. I'm pretty good at the game. So I don't know how fast I can get through it. I mean, I might be able to get through if I didn't take my time. If I didn't take my time, I could probably get through the first 3 dungeons and maybe like 4 or 5 episodes. If I sped through all the dialogue, which I would probably actually try to read it. For the sake of, like, you know, the channel and stuff. Because I remember I did a test of Ocarina of Time a while back. And, like, within 20 minutes, I was already at the castle. Something like that. Around 20 minutes, I was either going to the castle or was at the castle town. Which is, you know, a video. But I also remember not trying to collect all the golden sculptulas. And I was also, like, you know, not trying to, like, really waste time reading dialogue and stuff. I was literally just like, alright, like, realistically speaking, how quickly can I get through this? You know? So, like I said, that green turtle almost acted like it was a red shell. Did you see that? Anyway, but, like I was saying, like, you know, I want to do a playthrough of it now, but, like, I also think that, like, Pokemon needs to be wrapped up first. Just simply because, like, I'm doing 2 series, and I might stick to the 2 series format, do a longer game and several shorter games. I don't know. Or 2 decent length games. I don't know. That, you know, that's yet to be seen. But if I do stick to the 2 format, like, you know, I think that would give people a little more variety. Speaking of games, at some point I'm going to do a Turok the Dinosaur Hunter playthrough. I recently replayed through the first and second game, and I played through the 3rd game for the first time. And my opinions of the Turok games are the first one is the best, the second one is alright but kind of boring. And my god, I just played through the 3rd one for the first time. It is so annoying at times that it's like I can understand why people hated it when it came out, which is a shame because I look at it and I say to myself, this game has a lot of, like, potential. Like, it's very cinematic. The guns feel pretty good. You know, you get the option to choose between a couple characters, which is kind of whatever, you know, but, like, that's nice. The game scenarios are not much different. But, like, you know, from what I've played so far, because I started with Danielle's story and now I'm doing, like, Joseph's. And the gameplay is not too totally different, but, like, it's at the same time it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like interesting. I have to say it's not as, like, to me, as boring as Turok 2. I know a lot of people love Turok 2. It's not as boring to me as Turok 2, but, like, just the constant respawning enemies just annoy me, dude. But I'll drop it there. I might talk about it more if I ever do a playthrough of it, which, you know, it probably will happen. I'll probably do Turok 1, 2, and 3. At some point. I mean, I just, like I said, played through all of them. I'm always down to play through the first Turok, but Turok 2 just goes on for too long. for me to want to play it again right away. But yeah, I mean, I'll save that for later. You know, we got to sit through the ceremony because you can't skip it in this game. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed I didn't come in 4th place, because that would have been really great for the one, you know, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. But like, I'm not too sad about it. I'm sure if I chose like Toad or someone like that, and I would have struggled more, because on the 150 cc's, the heavy characters do the best and the light characters do the worst. But like on 50 cc's, the heavy characters do terribly and the light characters do really well. But, you know, at least I finished all the Grand Prix in this one, okay? Okay? But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you watch the video, I guess we can, well, never mind. I guess we're doing credits. Here are the, all the people that worked on the game. The game's really good. It holds up really well. I always love the weird 2D, 3D graphics of the N64, where like a lot of things are really flat but somehow three-dimensional. Like those cows a minute ago. But, you know, and there's a lot of room for things to be left to the imagination on the N64, which is nice. I think that's one of the reasons why, like, a lot of horror games were scarier on, like, N64, which there weren't a whole lot of them, but N64, PlayStation 1 era, like, the first Silent Hill and the first Resident Evils, is because, like, they were just detailed enough to give you an idea, but not detailed enough so that you can fill in the blanks. And this is something that I don't think I've ever really talked about, but like, you know, talking about like Ocarina of Time, like when I was a kid and Ocarina of Time was like one of the like shining examples of like the pinnacles of like three-dimensional gaming, like to me, like Ocarina of Time looked hyper realistic. I talk about this with my sister a lot. Like, Ocarina of Time and a lot of those games looked hyper realistic when we were kids. And then, you know, of course, like Twilight Princess and stuff comes around and like shows you what like better graphics can do to like realistic looking images. And then like you've got, you know, other games like Breath of the Wild and stuff that also continue that, where it's just like you're you know, like everything looks pretty realistic. So like it doesn't, you wouldn't think so today looking at it, but at the time it looked like somebody took a camera and recorded live action playthrough or like live action video, and Ocarina of Time looked like that, even though it's kind of silly to think about it today that way. But I think that's where I'm going to leave it off here. If you watched the video, I appreciate it. If you made it to this point into the video, I really, really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.